Welcome to this video on exiting clients from your project. Today we will go over how to exit a client and/or household from your project in HMIS. First, you will need to locate your client's profile in the system. Once you have located your client's profile, you want to click on the Entry Exit tab and locate your project. It's important to always make sure you are EDA'd in the correct project before exiting your client. Next, you will locate the exit column, which is directly across from your program entry, and click the pencil icon. This will open up the Edit Exit data box. Once you have opened up the Edit Exit data box, you want to locate the Household Members box. Be sure to mark all of the clients who are exiting the project. Remember, do not leave any children or minors in a project without adults. If not all of the clients are leaving the project, make sure you do not put a check mark next to their name. Please note, if the client that is remaining is not already the head of household, you will need to go into that client's profile and redesignate that client to now be the head of household. After doing the household members area, you want to go into the next box and check the exit date to make sure it is accurately reflecting the date your client is exiting your project. Reason for leaving. Make sure you choose the appropriate reason your client is exiting the project. For your destination, you will see a drop-down in which to choose your client's destination. Be sure to choose the appropriate destination for the situation. Always check to make sure no other questions have populated. If so, answer them accordingly, and then click Save. Always remember that if a question has an asterisk, you have to answer that question before moving on. You will notice that a new exit assessment has populated. This will populate by default. Be sure to update any fields that may have changed, i.e. the income, non-income benefits, health insurance, and disabilities. This does not mean you end any benefits because your client is exiting your project. Only update these fields to reflect the current situation. You will need to complete the exit assessment for all adult household members. Check for any additional program data elements and update as needed. Note, SSVF, RI, and ESG should refer to their addendum for any additional program elements, and then all you need to do is click Save and Exit. Completing the exit for your client. You will notice that once you click Save and Exit, it takes you to the Entry Exit window pane. Here is where you want to ensure that your client was exited from the correct project. You also want to ensure that the date you exited your client is properly reflected. Your client is now exited from your project. Side note, if you had assigned yourself as a case manager, please go into the Case Manager tab and close yourself out as the case manager as well. We are going to run through a quick scenario on how to exit a client once they are no longer enrolled in your project. Once you locate your client in Service Point, you want to navigate to the Entry Exit tab. This is where you will locate your project. For this scenario here, we are going to say that our client and household are all exiting from the project together. Locate the exit date column, which as you can see is currently blank, indicating the client is still enrolled in your project. To exit your client, you will click on the exit pencil icon. You will see a pop-up appear. You will want to take note of the household member section. If you are working with a household, you will want to ensure that every member that is leaving the program has a check mark next to their name. Please keep in mind that not all members may be leaving the program at the same time. In that case, you will want to be sure to only check the boxes next to the members that are exiting your program. This ensures that only the clients that are leaving will be exited and all others will remain enrolled. Once you have checked all the clients that are leaving the project, you will want to check the exit date to ensure it reflects the accurate date your client is leaving your project. Then you will complete two more fields. The first is the reason for leaving. This field simply indicates why your client and/or household is leaving the project. You will simply select the most appropriate option from the drop-down menu. For this scenario, we will pick completed program. Next, you will see the destination field. This is asking the question of where your client is going. Please note this is asking what type of situation your client is moving into, not necessarily where they are specifically going. So in this scenario, we are going to say our client is going to move into a housing situation with family or friends. You just need to remember to pick the most appropriate destination for your client. So for today, this option is going to be staying or living with family on a permanent tenure. Remember, it is not asking for specifics or who the client is moving in with. It just asks the type of situation the client is moving to. Thus, for destination, you simply select the option that indicates the type of exit that best fits your situation. Then click Save and Continue. Once you click Save and Continue, you will see that it takes you back to the Entry Exit data box. Here is where you will see that the Universal Exit Assessment has auto-populated. This is where you will update any information that may have changed since your client has been in your project. You will see that all the other assessments are still available, but for this scenario, we will default to the Universal Exit Assessment only. As you can see, these questions are the exact same as the ones that have appeared on the Program Data Elements, or PDE for short. So for these fields, you would simply update any changes that may relate to your client, such as income, non-cash benefits, health insurance, or disabilities. If you are exiting your client and there are no differences, you will simply go to the bottom of the page and click Save and Exit. You will also need to remember and make sure to do this for every client in the household that is exiting the project. Now, if there are any true changes, for example, say your client reports on the last day their health benefits have changed, you would go ahead and update the record before you completed the exit of the client from your project. To do this, you want to click on the HUD Verification tab in the right-hand corner. You will see a box open allowing you to make changes before you add your client's new information. You will first need to close out the previous answer. You want to go through the pencil icon next to the item that your client is now reporting they are receiving. For this scenario, we will use Medicaid. You will see an edit box open. You will notice that under the covered question, it reports no. You do not want to change this answer to yes at this time, as you first need to close out this issue before you can report the changes. Here is where you want to make sure that you enter the date as the day before the client reported any changes. After adding the end date, you want to click Save. After clicking Save, you will notice that it's showing that this section is now incomplete. Here, you simply want to change this to a yes, which will now indicate that your client is now, as of the current date, been receiving healthcare benefits. Then you must save and exit. You also want to be mindful and always remember to update the header section where it is asking if your client is receiving healthcare benefits. This must reflect the answer under the HUD verification section. You can check your changes by going into the magnifying glass. This will show you that your client is now receiving healthcare benefits and that you have canceled out when they were not receiving healthcare benefits. Then just click Exit to close this box. Once all changes have been updated, double check all of your answers to make sure everything is accurate. If everything looks good, you will scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save and Exit. As you can see, an exit date has populated next to the exit icon pencil, indicating that your client is no longer enrolled with your project. One final step in this process, if you have added yourself as a case manager, please go to the Case Manager tab and exit yourself as a case manager. Thank you for joining me today.